we only do one thing. I don't have a course. I don't sell product. I don't do anything else. Occasionally I'll do a collaboration, or, I might do a little something, but my sole focus is on this membership, on these people, on serving them like 24/7 pretty much. And I feel like that shows in what we do, how we do it. My focus isn't split.
Hey, my friend, welcome to the Art of Online Business podcast. My name is Rick Mulready, and I'm an online business coach. I'm an ads expert, and most importantly, I'm a dad. And this show is where we help established online course creators and coaches create more profit, more impact with less hustle. All right, let's get into it. One of the key things when we have a membership in our business, or if you're thinking about adding a membership to your business, is retention, right? How long do people stay in your membership? And, there's different metrics that we use to measure that. The primary one is churn rate, right? So average churn rate, if you're doing like 5% and below, you're doing, I'd say 5% is about average. You're doing pretty well. If you're in like the 3% or below, you're doing extremely well. Well, my guest today, Allie Manning, she's one of our Accelerator coaching members. She has essentially a 0% churn rate in her membership. Now, Allie is a bookbinder and a book artist. And in her membership, she teaches people bookbinding, how to do bookbinding. These are like craft projects. And she has built this amazingly successful membership where, again, she essentially has 0% churn rate. Her members stay with her for a very, very long time. And here's one of the most important things about this. Her audience primarily is made up of women 65 years old and older. Stereotypically, an older audience tends to be less tech savvy, right? Well, Allie is proving all of that wrong in her membership. Does she have to do work and teach people? Of course. But she's built this vibrant, amazing community teaching people how to do bookbinding. And it's a very inexpensive membership. It's like $20 a month. And people stay in her membership for years. And so I wanted to have her come on the show today to break down how she's created this amazing membership, what she does in the membership to retain people, if you will, and just provide this amazing value and experience for her members. As you're listening, if you're an established, meaning you're already doing at least $100K per year in your business, if you're an established course creator or membership creator or an online coach, and you're looking to take things to the next level, but maybe you're stuck, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're not really sure what next steps to take, I want to invite you to check out and apply. It's application only to our Accelerator coaching program. Go to rickmulready.com/accelerator. You're going to hear a lot about it here today and the amazing case study with Allie Manning. So without further ado, let's go hang out with Allie. Allie, welcome to the podcast. How you doing?
I'm great, Rick. How are you?
Good. I'm making this smirky face right now because I've been trying to get you to come on the show for a long time. And here you are.
Really? I did not know that. I did not know that you've been trying for a long time. Okay.
Yes. Well, I am pumped to have you here because you have an amazing membership. So you're a member of Accelerator. And when I first met you, you already had a successful membership. And I'll never forget the conversation that we had, maybe our first strategy call. And we were talking about your goals. And I was like, we need to increase those goals because you're not really stretching yourself there. Let's just be honest. We know you can reach those goals.
Oh my God.
And so
yeah.
It's been so much fun and is so much fun watching you with your membership and grow your business and the types of conversations that you're having now, as opposed to, I don't even remember when that was.
February,
and
March.
Yeah.
I remember.
So
okay,
let's stop leaving people, waiting for what the heck does Allie Manning do for her business? What's it all about? Who do you serve? Let's dive right into that.
Okay. So I am a a book artist and a book binder. And I teach this traditional craft of making books by hand to a community of people through a subscription site or a membership site. My twist on it is that it's a very traditional craft, but I use modern materials, modern methods, and it's for sort of the modern artist, the modern crafter. The majority of my audience are, artists, they're crafters. Many of them have retired or are sort of in a second career, sort of second phase of life, as it were. And this membership we're in our third year now. So it started in 2019.
What made you start it?
That's an interesting question. It's kind of a personal story. Am I allowed to share a personal story?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't now that I ask you, I'm like, I don't think I know the answer to this already.
What made you start it? I don't share this very often. So yeah, it's a pretty personal story because I'd had my business since 2014, and like many artists, I sort of followed a very traditional route. I got a studio. I rented a studio with other artists. I taught classes locally. I sold my books locally. I had an Etsy store. I stayed pretty small. Mm-hmm. And I made very little money. But in 2018, my best friend of like 20 years, we went out for coffee. It was like just after the holidays. And she's like, yeah, I've been feeling unwell over the holidays. And I was just actually in the emergency room. And she got a call to say that she had cancer. And she was 48 and she was a single parent of 2 teenagers. And I'm like, okay, we got this. We'll fight this. We'll get through this together. Well, we didn't get through it together. She had a year. By January 31st of 2019, she died, and she hadn't made her 50th birthday. So, and that, and I don't mean to be like cliched and like, oh, life's too short, but I spent that year with her. I went to all the doctor's appointments, all the chemo appointments. I slept at, Mass General Hospital on the couch of her hospital room for weeks at a time. And that was a long time to like reflect on, what's important in life and what was important to her and what was important to me. And, it really struck me, what would I do? Like, what am I leaving behind? Like, what if I just had that literally 1 year? What am I leaving behind? And I've got a fabulous family. As you know, I've got a great husband of 25 years this year and a 21-year-old daughter who is amazing. And there was still something inside me that felt unfulfilled. And I've always been great at artists, at sort of building communities, and I'm a great teacher, and I just love like paper and books, but I knew that I just had something so much bigger inside me. So literally a couple months after she passed away, I was like, okay, I have to just reach a whole lot bigger. And so my goal now is just, a worldwide community of people who love to do the same kind of thing that I love to do. And so that's kind of where it came from. And I hope I don't sound cliched and like, oh, life's too short. No. But honestly, like it kind of is. And do you know what always strikes me is prior to that, I was always so afraid of what people would think. Like, what would my family think if I decided to do an online business? What would my friends think? Like, why did I care? Like, no one cares. What are people going to say? What are people going to say when I do a Facebook Live? Or what are they going to say if I do a Zoom call? Like, I was so invested in sort of what other people would say and what other people would think. And from that moment on, that year onwards, I thought it doesn't matter what they think.
Yeah.
I need to show up and do this thing that's so important to me. So that's what I did.
It's not cliche at all. I think that, I think a lot of people have those, for whatever the story is or whatever the reason is, that they don't necessarily share. So I appreciate you sharing that story. How did you get things going online? You were, as you mentioned, you were in that very traditional sense of like Etsy and, local studio space and so forth. So what was that process like?
Well, maybe I cheated a little bit because I did start a blog in 2007 when the days of like Typepad and Blogger and Yahoo Group. Remember Yahoo Groups?
I do. Yeah.
So I did start a blog back in 2007. It wasn't a business. So I did have some experience of sort of creating a community, but none really online. I kind of upgraded from the Etsy store to a Shopify. So I had a Shopify site. So I had like a online retail store, but again, it just wasn't making the impact that I needed it to. It was retail sales, which were great, but it just wasn't, there's only, so much paper I can ship to folks. So my toe had been dipped in the water. Through, like I said, I'd been blogging consistently throughout that time. I was on social media and I had an e-commerce store. But I did decide to take Stu McLaren's course, Tribe, in 2018. 18, 19? I can't remember. Who knows which year. But anyway, I took Tribe. And from there, that kind of gave me the kick up the backside to get the membership site going.
You got that going. So before we even get into that, what does it mean to be a bookbinder and a book artist? Well, I know that a lot of people are like, wait, what is that? What is she teaching actually?
Oh, really? So it's creating a book by hand. So that book could be made from leather, from paper, from recycled items, could be made from wood. And I mean, anything can be a book, but generally speaking, a book is a sewn bound structure, and it can be blank so that you could write in it, but it could also be blank, ready for you to paint in it. But it also you could be binding your own paintings, your own artwork, anything, any form of artwork that you want to bind into a book. And like a book is an interactive experience. Like you can put a painting on a wall and look at it and it's great, but a book is something that you hold. A book is tactile. A book, you open the pages and you discover what comes next and what comes next. So it's a really different art experience. So
for everybody listening right now, I want you to just listen to what Allie just said and how she explained it. We're on video right now, and she just rattled that off. And I was listening to you, Allie, and I was like, you just painted a picture of the value of what a book is and how you can create your own version of it.
Yeah.
That's what people buy into.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, if anybody listening to the show right now is like, well, I don't know if my niche is big enough, or I don't know if this is something I can actually monetize. Well, What Allie just described, when I first met Allie, I was like, you do what? Because I didn't understand it, but it's fascinating. And to hear you talk about it that way right there, I think that's an amazing lesson on messaging and how you describe what you do and the value of it for people.
Yeah.
And so you started the membership and what were some of how did you start to get people into it? What kind of success did you have at first, or not success? Like, what were some of the things that went into that first time you actually got it going?
Well, I did have a list. I mean, okay. I don't remember honestly now, it's 3 years ago. I don't remember what the list size was. Maybe 1,000. I don't even know. I had a small list, and well, you have to understand, because it's a niche market and not many people do this, they're fairly committed people. If they're on your mailing list and they're reading your blog, or they're on your, I had a small Facebook group, they're fairly committed people. So I had a pretty strong list. I had a small Facebook group, and that list was mostly through consistent blogging and having the e-commerce store. So, it wasn't from ground zero. Yeah. It wasn't like overnight, I just put this thing out there and it was successful. So dollar bills started falling from the sky. Exactly. Right? So I think the founding membership, we had maybe 250 people join as founding members, which was
out of your list of 1,000, roughly.
Yeah. So
you didn't run ads. You just went internal, quote unquote. You didn't know ads at all at that point.
I didn't run ads until I joined your program. Okay. And then that was kicking and screaming.
Yes. We'll talk about that too. Yeah. So you had 25% roughly of your email list join your program.
Yeah. That's pretty consistent. That's pretty much the conversion rate I work on. It's a 25%.
Yeah, which is amazing. And so when you launched it, did you have a whole bunch of did you know what it was going to look like? Did you have the first month? Did you have just the
sure.
outline and promise, or what did you have?
Oh, no. I had the first month. My goodness, no, I couldn't.
Yeah.
I'm too much of a planner for that. No, what I had, I think when they joined, there was a bonus project ready. I think we launched 1 month, and then, by the end of the month, the first project would be up. So that was in progress and that was ready. And then I had some ideas of how I thought it would go. Mm-hmm. But I very much wanted this to be a collaboration, and it still really is. The community itself is a collaboration of, I run the community, I lead the community, but we're a sort of living, breathing entity. So it evolves and develops over time. We add things, we take things away, we tweak things. So yes, I had an idea. Does it look like I thought it would? Partly not. So it's definitely changed over time. So
when you welcome those first 250 people into the membership, did you offer a yearly option at that point, or was it just monthly?
I've never, ever offered a yearly option. I still don't.
And I'm glad that you don't, because we're going to talk about why that's the case. How much was it?
I knew you don't. I'm so embarrassed.
It's okay, because your current membership is super low. What was it at that time?
$10.
$10.
Yeah.
$10 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And you were creating this community.
Yep. For
people.
Yep.
And what else were they getting within it?
At that time, they were getting one pre-record. So it's a book project. So yep. A certain type of binding. So one pre-recorded book project. So obviously me, and it's pre-done and uploaded to the sites on the first of the month. And then for that, there was a Facebook group, and I think we had a community call, like a Zoom call, community call.
Once a month?
Yeah. And that, I think, was it at the time. I think I had also a library of sort of basic tutorials as well up on the website too, I believe.
So you launched this for $10 a month, and all of a sudden you have $2,500 reoccurring.
Yep.
Each month.
Yep.
What did you start to learn about the membership shortly after launching it? What were some of the things? Because you just mentioned, like, now you're like, well, it went into a direction I wasn't quite thinking it would go. Then other areas are like you thought. What were sort of some of your big takeaways shortly after launching it that first time?
That's a good question. It's like trying to think back to ancient history, even though it's not that long ago. I'm not sure this is going to make a whole lot of sense to listeners, but as sort of the months progressed, they were making lots of books, which was the point of them making books. But they were wondering what to put inside them. So a lot of them had like shelves full of empty books. Mm-hmm. So some of the feedback I got was, well, maybe we could use some help putting stuff in there. So that then led to a guest artist program, which we have now once a month. We have a guest artist who comes in, and there might be a calligrapher, they might be a painter, they might be a printmaker who gives us a 1 to 1.5 hour lesson as to what to put inside the book. So that kind of added another layer. So that was one thing. That was one thing I kind of got from the feedback from those people. Is that the kind of thing you mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Before I ask the follow-up question to that, you launch your membership, 250 people in there.
Yeah.
How long are they staying? At what point did you launch again? And how long are that first group staying in the membership?
They're still all there. I mean, $10 a month. I mean, no offense. Honestly, occasionally we'll lose one and it's like, what? Yeah, they're mostly still there.
So 3 years later? 2 years later?
Two and a half, yeah.
2.5 years later. They're still in the membership.
Yeah.
And you grandfathered them in at the $10 price.
Of course, yeah.
$10 a month price.
Yeah. These are my people.
At what point, I love it. At what point do you allow people into membership?
I forget now. Maybe it was 3 or 4 months later, and then we increased the price then to 15, and then 3 or 4 months later we opened it up again at 20, and now we do it 3 times a year. It's set at 3 times a year now.
At $20 a month.
Until next year, then it's going up to 25. because it's lower than the standard in the industry standard.
The next time you launch it 3-4 months later, and then the next time after that 3-4 months later, how are you getting people in at that point? Was it just building your list and nurturing, and then you're just opening it up to them?
Mm-hmm. I didn't start doing the challenge launches. I think this is our 4th challenge launch. Prior to that, we were just doing, organic growth. The minute I decided I was going to do this, the minute I sort of, my friend passed away and I was like, I gotta get on with my life kind of thing. I started doing a Facebook Live, which was frankly at the time the most painful thing ever. But now, thank goodness I did, because it's just, I love doing lives now. They're really fun. So I started doing a regular Facebook Live, regular time every week, the thing that you tell us to do. And
just on your Facebook page.
Yep. Just my Facebook page. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just organic growth like that. Nothing, nothing super fancy, no paid ads, just consistently showing up and providing value.
Yeah.
Go figure. Imagine that. Yeah.
So you just mentioned that you now launch.
Yes.
When you open it up and welcome new members, you use a challenge, and you use a paid challenge.
Yes, I do. Yes. So I do a 5-day challenge.
Tell us about that.
Oh, it's great. I love it. So this will be I want to say this is our 4th or 5th. It's almost like, you go from launch to launch, and it's like the previous one is like, it's gone now. It's in my rearview mirror. So it's a 5-day challenge, and it's a book project, exactly the same as we would do inside of the membership. So there's no difference. And when I do a project, I split it up into sections. So what I do is I split the project into 5 days. Perhaps normally the video is 6 or 7 videos, who knows, but I split the project into 5 days. And then each morning they get a pre-recorded video with the day's work they're supposed to do. And it's 15 minutes, say, directions. And then at noon Eastern, we meet on Zoom for a live Q&A, answer their questions. I do giveaways. And that's actually a very important part of the challenge, is to get them into that live. And it's almost like a webinar, get them to show up to webinar. And then, they pay $10, which is great, because it used to fund my ads. Don't fund those ads no more.
We'll talk about that. Okay.
Oh my God. So it literally used to completely fund the ads. And I used to make a profit, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
And then generally speaking, I think generally speaking, we convert then those challenge takers about 25% to come into the membership. During the pandemic, we had a freak one where we converted 40%.
Yeah.
Like everything, it was a freak. So I can pretty much rely on about 24-25% of those people. And the reason is because they get a taster of what the membership's like. They get a taster of me, my style, my teaching style, the way I show up on Zoom, but they get a taste of the community, because all the club members get it for free. And they're encouraged. I have them as like ambassadors in the Facebook group, encouraging people. They're on the Zoom calls. This is their community. They have ownership of it, and they're invested. So it kind of gives them a little toe in the water before they join.
So there's a lot there that I want to unpack. It's all really good stuff. I want to unpack it because there's so much in what you just said, Ali, that so many people can take away and use these nuggets, if you will, in their own business, whether it's a membership, whether it's a course, or what have you. So you mentioned community. So you got 250 people in there. You launched a couple more times that year. After year 1, what are your numbers at that point? Do you remember? Just roughly?
Maybe 700, 800, something like that.
Okay.
I don't think I was at 1,000 when I came to you. I don't think.
I think you were just under it.
I think I was.
And were you still charging $10 at that point?
Oh, no. I was up to 20.
You're up to 20 at that point. Okay.
I've been at 20 for ages. Yeah.
Okay. So you're welcoming all these people in at $20 a month. That is a very nice monthly reoccurring.
Yeah.
And your churn rate is basically non-existent, because your lifetime customer value, if you will, is essentially minimum 12 months.
Minimum 12 months. Yeah.
Why do you think people stay in so long?
It's a very big question. It's really, well, we could be here for another 2 hours talking about that. When I was, you asked me about this earlier, and I was thinking about it, and I literally just did a brain dump and wrote down a whole long list of, on a sort of very practical level, all the strategic things we do, which is a lot, you know. Yep. But when I sort of stepped back and looked at that list, what really struck me is that we are very, very focused on all those small strategies. What they have in common is they're all geared towards the mission that we have and our values and the goal of the community. Like that seems to be front and center of everything that we do. And I hadn't even really thought of it. I mean, I'm very clear on what our values are, not just mine, but the communities, my team. We're very clear about those, and we're very clear about our mission. And it seems to me like we're just consistently doing everything to meet that. And that's why they're staying. If they leave, it's just because that's not the kind of community they want.
Yeah.
That's not the kind of values they look for. By values, I don't mean morals. I just mean the sort of type of environment they want to be in. So I think we have real clarity on that. And that seems to really help.
And I thought it was interesting before we hit record is that you were like, I wrote some things down to prepare for our talk today. And you said that you had a light bulb moment in getting clarity on exactly what you just said.
Yeah. Who knew?
You knew I was going to bring up your retention rate because it's so high.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, it all kind of, it wasn't really intentional, but now it's intentional. But the things that we've been doing all circle back to the values and the mission and all that sort of thing.
I'll tell you something else, which I personally think this helps, and I think you'll be pleased to hear this, is that we only do one thing. I don't have a course. I don't sell product. I don't do anything else. I mean, occasionally I'll do a collaboration, or, I might do a little something, but my sole focus is on this membership, on these people, on serving them like 24/7 pretty much. And I feel like that shows in what we do, how we do it. My focus isn't split. I'm launching this product. I'm trying to do something else. I'm always just, and I'm not meaning to brown nose, but I swear I must be 4 or 5 years ago. You said that on your podcast. And I remember thinking, that's interesting. And then, we
need to come up with some sort of like sound effect on the show here, because you all, I want you to hear what Ali just said. And you have a very healthy business on many different levels: revenue, retention rate, community, your team, the time that you put in, all that stuff. You've created an amazingly healthy business, and you have one offer, and it's $20 a month right now.
Yeah.
And it will be going up, but it's $20 a month. And you have, just like you just said, Ali, you've gone all in on it, and you've just done the best job possible in creating the most amazing offer, in creating the most amazing experience, and a community and your team to support it. And people stay in a minimum of 12 months.
Yeah. It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
Really. It's just focus, just focus on one thing. Yeah.
So what's one example of, you just mentioned like everything circles back, if you will, to your values, right, of the community. So what's an example of something that you might do that circles back to it?
One of our values is abundance. So that the sense that there's enough to go around, there's enough money, there's enough inspiration, like we all have something to share. And that I really try to make the membership about my members and what they're creating. I try hard not to make it about me and sort of my way or the highway, or I'm the one with all the answers. So I really try to bring in their voices as much as I possibly can. And so I get the sense sometimes that maybe some people might feel threatened, because frankly, half the time my members' books and artwork is way better than mine. I just happen to be good at running this business and good at teaching, but their books are often really way better than mine. I'm not kidding. And I love that. Like, bring it on. So we intentionally lift them up and make them front and center all the time. So, at the bottom of every project that we have, there's an inspiration gallery and everyone's work goes in there. Every newsletter, it's, they're mentioned. This is what this person's doing. This is what this person's doing. Once a month, we do a whole digest of different things that people have been doing. If they're teaching a class, if they've got, a sale in their Etsy shop, if they, created some special project for their daughter's wedding, or it's just always sort of twisting it round so it's on them. So that's sort of one way that we really try to live our values, that there's enough of everything to go around. And I don't mind I don't mind bringing in guest artists and obviously we don't want them doing sales pitches, but I want to bring in other voices and they get to promote their class and it's great because there's enough.
And you did that as a result of listening to their feedback, to your community's feedback. They're like, okay, we're creating these books, but what do we put in it?
Yeah, always.
Yeah. How often, what does that circle of information, if you will, look like from requesting? How do you get feedback from your members?
Yeah, officially we do a survey at least once a year, maybe more like every 9 months. Focus groups. So we have smaller focus groups where they, obviously we try to keep it tight with a set list of questions and so forth. But mostly I'm in there listening. I'm in there paying attention. Because this is my sole focus. I'm in that Facebook group, just reading what they're saying and trying to pick up clues. It's like sifting for clues. If I see consistently that 3 or 4 people in a week have asked about glue, for example, what type of glue should I use? That's a key for me to be like, okay, I'll come up with a cheat sheet for them about glue, or we'll do a special Zoom call all about glue, for example. Yeah. And it's just, or someone has a really interesting technique and I notice they've got 20 comments in the Facebook group. I'm going to reach out to that person and say, hey, can you come on to our next community call and just explain how you did that technique? Because people are really interested. So it's efficient. It's intentional and kind of anecdotal almost.
Are you running the group, meaning from a community aspect? Are you leading it or is the community leading it itself?
They're doing it. Yeah, I don't.
And how did you create that culture within the community? Or did it just it wasn't intentional? It just sort of happened that way. And this is this is what I really wanted and envisioned all along.
I didn't intentionally. No, I didn't. There's nothing, honestly, I did intentionally. It's a good size. The numbers help. If it was a community of 20 or 30, but we're over 1,500 now. So it's a numbers game too. But I think it's more that we foster the sense of this is their community and they have ownership of it. So they just love answering each other's questions. If someone can't find a link or someone needs an idea, I don't need to say anything. I can, but it's better if I don't.
Yeah.
Let them. Yeah.
So you have over 1,500 people in there right now.
For now. Wait till after my launch.
So we're recording this the first week of October. You are opening enrollment again in early November.
Yeah, my challenge is November 8th through the 12th, and then we open cart on the last Friday of the challenge. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to walk through the challenge and just kind of break it down because this is something that you do extremely well. Obviously, if you're converting roughly 25% of the challenge, that's especially for a membership.
Yeah, that's good.
And even at an inexpensive, quote unquote, $20 a month, it's still a membership, meaning it's reoccurring. You don't offer a 12-month, right?
No.
And so just to kind of kick things off, and then we will come back to the Facebook ads, and I want to resurface a conversation that we had last year. But you offer the challenge. It's a paid challenge. It's $10 to join.
Yep.
And in general, how many people do you get to sign up? The past few.
Over 1,000. 12. I think the last one was 1,400 and something. Our goal for this one's 2,500.
I love it. Paying $10 a pop to go to the challenge.
Yep.
Okay, so they sign up. They pay their $10.
Yep.
I'm going to get really granular with you for a second here. So they sign up, and if you don't know the answer, that's okay.
Okay.
They sign up. Thank you page.
Yep.
Is there something special about the thank you page? Like, are you giving them a certain direction, telling them what to do? Talk about that.
And you know what? This is only through experience. So don't think this is how it was at the beginning, because we've made every mistake.
Sure.
Ever.
Yep.
So right now, this is what we do. There's a welcome video, which I'd say, very important. Please watch this. And it gives them an outline of what to expect. Because
in the challenge.
Yeah. Like how it's going to go. Because there are just some common misconceptions, because most people don't. Doing a 5-day art challenge has become more popular, but most people run them live in a Facebook group. Yeah. So it's a lot. And so what's unusual about mine is it's pre-recorded video. And the reason for that is just it's detail oriented. It's close-up work that has to be, you can't do it on an internet connection.
Yeah.
So I give them a very clear overview of what to expect, of the format of the day. And then there's a button underneath, join the Facebook group. And then they get to, I think there's also, I think that's in the email. Then in their first email, they get sent to the website to download their supply list. And there's also a video that accompanies the supply list. So they have plenty of time to gather their supplies ahead of time.
Smart. I'm just curious, are those supplies affiliate links?
No, they're not.
Okay.
Intentionally not.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I don't. Yeah. No, I don't.
So you get, the last time you did it was about 1,400 people. And so what do you call this? Do you call it a challenge?
5-day challenge. Yeah.
In your marketing, to the public, if you will.
Yeah. It's a 5-day, and then I name the book. So 5-day fabric journal challenge, 5-day media journal challenge. Yeah. So each one's slightly different. It's a different book every time.
Well, it's super smart, but all you're doing. So wait, it's a different book every time, but are the videos new?
Yep.
Oh, you re-record the videos?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I may reuse some, but
yeah, I
like doing new ones.
Okay. So refresh our memory on who your audience is.
My typical audience is female, probably over 65, many over 75, 70 plus. They're retired. Most of them are retired teachers and therapists and social workers. Go figure. And librarians. I know. Who knew?
So what I just heard from you is women, most are retired, 65 plus.
Yes.
Wait, but I thought that they didn't know how to use the internet and fill out an order form and use their credit card to purchase something.
Sure. Yeah, well, most of them do. I'll be honest, not always. I mean, I'm just guessing. I would say we perhaps have a higher number of tech customer service questions, perhaps than other memberships, but I don't know. That's just what I would guess. But no.
Prior to purchasing?
No, just with confusion about, maybe one email address for PayPal and one that they use for other things, or how to update a credit card. Just,
Oh, gotcha. So once they're a member.
Yeah, not major.
Okay. So I just wanted to, I knew the answer to that, but I wanted you to reiterate that, because so many people feel like, oh, this demographic, if you will, they're not going to purchase because they don't understand. My mom is 78. I should know. I'm laughing because I should know. 77. She's 77 and she would have no idea. She still writes checks and she's super afraid of like banking online and stuff like that. Yeah. And so I told you that from day one. I was like, I'm amazed that you get like you are serving this market really, really well, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
So on the thank you page, you got the welcome video, sign up for the Facebook group link. Yep. What percentage generally do you get to sign to go into the Facebook group?
Oh, most of them, because we're running ads at this point. I don't know what the number is pre-ads, but I'd say the majority are going to the Facebook group. Yeah.
So they sign up on that Monday morning. So what'd you say, November 8th? It's a Monday. I just looked at my calendar. So November 8th, this launch, depending on when people are listening to this, obviously it could be coming up or past. So Monday morning, they get an email in their inbox, pre-recorded video with some sort of instructions, I'm guessing, on how to watch it.
What to do. Yeah.
And so you give them a task, if you will.
Yep.
Right. So talk about that. Like, what is the flow through the challenge, if you will? Like, you're teaching them from start to finish how to create a book?
Absolutely. Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is to get them to have a win. So I'm marketing to people who have never done this before and who don't think they can do it, or think that, it's too difficult, or they don't, they're confused. So I'm showing them from start to finish, do this step A, B, C, D, E, you have a book, because that's kind of what I'm good at. I'm good at breaking down. Bookbinding's complicated. So, but I happen to be able to just break it into parts for them. So I'm just showing them how I do that, and that they can do it. And by the end of the week, they have a completed book. And the sense of accomplishment, and these people are amazed. They're like, you should see the comments. Like, I cannot believe I did this. I cannot believe I did this. Like, well, I can, because you're quite, just step by step by step by step.
And how long is each video roughly?
15 minutes, maybe. So maybe 10, maybe 20, not long at all.
Okay. So you send it out first thing in the morning, each day during the week, Monday through Friday.
Yep.
And each day during the week, also, you're doing a live Q&A in the Facebook group. Is this a pop-up Facebook group, or is this?
It's actually, we actually do the Q&A in Zoom. Just because people struggled with it being live in the Facebook group. Yeah. Not everyone was seeing it. I find it a lot more effective to have the same Zoom link for every day, recurring meeting, and send that out. That seems to be, people seem a lot more used to that.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So what I was asking before about the thank you page, what you were mentioning is when they join the membership, right?
No, when they join the challenge.
Oh, so wait. So there's a link to the Facebook group. What Facebook group are they getting?
It's a pop-up. It is a pop-up Facebook group. Yes.
Oh, that's okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. They have.
But they're getting a Zoom link, and I would assume that you're broadcasting that into the Facebook group when you do it.
Yeah, but I'd rather they came to the Zoom. I'd rather they come to Zoom because there's more interaction. So. And
again, just to reiterate, 65 plus is understanding how to use Zoom.
Absolutely, they are. Oh,
yeah.
Without question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, they can.
So what percentage would you say are actually showing up to the Q&A? And then do you send them like a second email that morning, like later that morning, to remind them?
Oh, yeah. Lots of reminders.
Lots of reminders.
Going back to the retention, it's the same. It's the same for the retention as well as for this converting these challenge takers. It's all getting them to show up live. Like, so for the live events we have for the membership, the more they can show up live, the more invested they are. And that's the same for the challenge. The more I can get them into that Zoom call. So I cannot remember off the top of my head the number. It's not huge. It's quite a few hundred, maybe 300-400. I mean, it's a lot to manage.
Which is a lot. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. There's three of us managing that, and it's actually really fun. We have a really good interaction. We have like one person a team member answering questions in the comments, but then I have someone on screen with me reading those questions out. And there's a really good interplay between the three of us. That really helped last time, I think, to make them feel, these new people, pulled into this community that we have. So,
and you mentioned earlier that you have members from your existing community, your existing membership ambassadors, if you will, join you in the pop-up group.
Oh, yeah. And the Zoom call. Definitely. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, they're key. They're absolutely key because they sell the membership.
Yeah, totally. It's brilliant.
I don't need to talk much about the membership. We just mention the membership casually in conversation. And then what membership? What's this membership? And then they go ahead and sell it for me.
I love it.
Yeah.
So great. 5-day challenge.
Yep.
Friday's the final day. You open enrollment on Monday?
No, on that Friday. Well, only Friday. For challenge takers.
Right.
It opens early for challenge takers.
Okay. And so what does that transition look like? So they've just gone through the challenge. They've created a book at this point.
Yeah.
Now, what's the value proposition going into or for the membership at that point?
We have a party on the Sunday. So on the Sunday we have a wrap-up party on Zoom. So I make like a big deal. I wear a sparkly dress. It's crazy. And I make a movie. So everyone who's made a book, I make a movie. But not everyone finishes, obviously. Whoever's made their book, I do a movie. They get to watch the movie of their, of all the books and literally it's hundreds upon hundreds of books. It's amazing. And I'll do final giveaways. I'll do some highlights, some little awards, just, pumping them up for the membership. And obviously I sell the membership again. Then I've sold it Friday and I've just been peppering it throughout the week, just sort of, teasing them. So that's kind of how we wrap it up.
I mean, super creative. I love that you make a movie out of it. That's super smart.
It's fun.
They've created the book at that point. Why do they want to continue in the membership? Is it, I want to continue to be able to do this? I had so much fun. Is it the community? What are you actually selling at that point?
We're selling more of what they've just had that week. So more fun, more community. I have a lot of examples of the books that we just made. Hey, this is what we made last month. Wouldn't you love to make that? And they're kind of not sexy books, but they're really kind of like intriguing ones, like, oh, I'd really like to make that. So I kind of pique their interest because they get access to all the back projects.
Oh, they do?
And they do. So
it's basically 2.5 years worth of
for
$20, like, and they come in $20 a month.
Yeah.
Amazing. So your cart officially opens to the public, quote unquote, on that Monday.
Yeah.
And then how long is enrollment open?
Well, in the past, I've left it open a week. And I know you tell me all the sales come on the last day, but they don't for me. The sales all come from that weekend from the challenge. I mean,
that makes sense, right? I mean, they're coming off this huge, like, so much fun. And you're also having a big party on that Sunday, which I think is, I love the idea.
Oh, it's so great just to watch. Like, and what we have them do is sign up online while they're live. Like, who signed up? Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. So we can give them a shout out.
What does that following week look like for you? Is it just emails? Are you going
exhaustion?
live? Yeah.
I honestly don't do a whole lot. I just do emails. I might do more this time. We've hired a staff member, so I feel like we're a lot more organized. I mean, generally we're just like lying on the floor exhausted. But because we have this really fabulous new team member, we're a lot more organized this time. So I think I'm going to try and be more intentional, perhaps do some lives, some Zoom calls. I haven't even gone that far yet. So, but generally speaking, it's been emails.
And I remember the last launch that you did, you had a few, I think it was like a Thursday that you and I were chatting, and cart was closing like on that Sunday or something like that.
Yeah.
And you were a little bit disappointed in sales. And so we were just chatting like, okay, what do you have planned between that Thursday and that Sunday? Yeah. And what were the types of things that you already had done? And was there anything that was working? And you were like, well, I always sell when I go live. Like, people love when I go live and it works.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, how many lives do you have planned between now and Sunday? And you were like, I think I have one. And I was like, wait a minute. You just told me that when you go live, you sell more. And when you go live, we're talking like 15 minutes. And so you scheduled a live for every day. So
and it worked.
I think you did one that later Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. And then
you sold more.
Yeah. I can't remember the numbers, but I'm sure I sold at least another 100.
Yeah.
So
amazing. It's just like, just looking at what was working. Okay. Let's do more of what was working there.
And the reason it works is we had a focus group recently, and one of the things that they said they really liked is that, they see my face, that I show up, because a lot of times, within a membership or a class, you see a screen, you see slides, or you see, if it's a craft, you just see someone's hands. The fact that I'm willing to put my face out there and just show up, it just, that connection, it just makes a difference.
Yeah.
And it's hard. I know most people don't like doing it. I know it's hard. It's really hard.
Well, you didn't like doing it at first, but you said that you just kept doing it. And now you really enjoy it.
It's fun. It's really fun.
Just like any skill, like if you are not comfortable getting on camera for whatever, like just keep doing it. Repetition is going to help.
Yeah.
I teased earlier and I want to start to wrap up, but I want to talk about ads because our initial conversation with it, we ran the numbers.
Yeah.
Right. And so that was one of the first things we did was like, okay, what's your lifetime customer value?
Yep.
And you said, well, people stay in 12 months. And I was like, all right, well, there it is. $240 minimum, $240.
Yeah.
And so that's everything when it comes to knowing what you can pay for a new customer and, in your conversion rate, your lead cost, et cetera. And so we just ran the numbers. I don't remember what the number was as far as ad spend, but it was maybe like $3,000 or something. It was fairly small.
Even. I think it was like 1,200. I mean, it was, I'd done it once before I joined Accelerator.
Yeah.
And it worked great, but I was too nervous to spend any kind of money, like maybe not even 2,000.
Yeah, that's what it was. And people were paying $10 for the challenge. And your lead cost was like
$4.
Yeah, I was going to say between $4 and $6.
It's like $4.
So
yeah, well, that's ancient history now.
So you're paying for it right off the bat. You're paying for your lead cost right off the bat.
Yeah.
And so that was really the game, if you will.
Yeah.
My goal was to show you the numbers, how it worked from an ads perspective and get you more comfortable with ads, because as long as you were tracking for each launch, creating benchmarks for yourself.
Yeah.
So what did you top out at for ad spend?
Last launch, 20. I think we spent 20. This one will probably go up to 35.
Yeah.
Yeah.
35,000.
Yeah.
Because things convert. You convert like 25%-ish.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've said that now. Good Lord. Let's hope it. I mean, because the last launch, which was literally the week, the new iOS updated, I wound up paying $14 a lead. That was kind of painful. That was painful because I'm only getting in 10. But if I'm converting at 25%, I'm still ahead, way ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so are you running lead magnet ads consistently? You're not. Okay.
It didn't work out that well last time.
So you're going to launch November 8th.
Mm-hmm.
What is your ad plan now? We're recording this on October 5th. So you're a month out.
Oh, they're starting soon. Well, I have an agency now, which is another thing you encouraged me to do because.
Okay. Yeah.
So honestly, I'm not super involved in the ads now. We had a meeting last week. They have everything they need right now. I sent it to them today, actually, landing page and thank you page and all of that jazz. I've sent them the ad videos. So I think they'll start running ads next Monday. So about, a month out, they'll start running ads a month out.
For registration?
Yeah, well, they're going to do some test ads to see which ones hit. So I think they're going to spend the first maybe 10 days, 2 weeks testing and getting whatever it is they get.
Data.
Thank you.
Data.
Yes, thank you. And then we'll start really throwing the money at it 2 weeks before.
Yeah. So for everybody listening, guys, like what Ali just mentioned, and I covered this in a recent podcast episode, launching post iOS 14.5 is completely different than it was last year. You have to start earlier. If you are starting the standard 10 days out and you haven't tested or anything like that, it's way too late. Gone are the days of letting ads run 3 to 5 days before optimizing. Like you need at least 7 days, 7 to 10 days.
Yeah.
In order to see any kind of, data that's worthy enough to start to use to optimize. There's a 3-day delay roughly in reporting. So of what you're seeing in Ads Manager and the data that Facebook is using to optimize your ads from the algorithm standpoint. So it's become much harder for those of you who are launching and, still trying to run ads for your launch as we used to. That's a big mistake. And so I'll put the link in the show notes for the episode where I talked about if you were launching launch strategy for your ads, you've got to be starting sooner. And the good thing about you, Ali, is that you pretty much know your audience, the audiences that work well for you. Your messaging is pretty much down.
Yeah.
you got your landing page, you got your thank you page. And so you're essentially rinsing and repeating the overall launch, except for the book, like what you're actually teaching. So you're just kind of plugging that into this new launch and away you go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just each time, just tweaking, optimizing a little bit, changing things. Yeah. So.
What's your confidence level in your business right now?
Oh.
From where it was?
Oh, unbelievable. I feel so much more confident. Like just being in the Accelerator has given me the confidence to hire an ads agency, to spend that kind of money on ads and to really hire properly. I've only got 2 team members who are both 20 hours a week, but it's really given me the confidence to know what work to give them, what not to give them. My confidence is it's like night and day.
I love it. It's been so fun. It's been so fun to watch.
Thank you.
So where can people connect with you to find out what book binding and book artistry is all about?
Why don't they find me on Instagram? So my company name is Vintage Page Designs. So
Vintage Page Design. So at Vintage Page Designs
on Instagram. You can look at the pretty books.
Okay, awesome. I'll link everything up for Allie and her business over on the show notes page for today's episode. Allie, thank you so much for taking us through your business, your membership, breaking everything down. Super, super appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks. It was a lot of fun.
Hey, my friend, thank you so much, as always, for listening today. Allie is just one of my favorite people, and I think you can see why after listening to the episode here today. Again, if you're interested in learning more and applying for our Accelerator coaching program, it is open. Go to rickmulready.com/accelerator. It's for more established online course creators, membership creators, and online coaches. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, for example, I'd be forever grateful and indebted if you leave a quick rating and review for the show over on Apple Podcasts. Click subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. And if you're listening on any of the other platforms like Spotify, etc., make sure you follow the show so you don't miss any episodes that I've got coming your way this year. Lots of amazing stuff coming your way. As always, again, thank you, my friend, for listening. I super appreciate you. Until next time, be well, and I'll talk to you soon.